Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and I'm taking care of business. Joining me today is Mike Simpson, who is the Executive Director of Operations for the Canadian Energy Centre. Well, Mike, the Centre recently put out a fact sheet on oil and gas exports, Canadian oil and gas exports, and the impact that an increase in them would have on the Canadian economy. Can you talk a little bit about what the research found?
You bet. So we did some a sort of situational modeling, and we calculated what would happen if we had an increase in exports of 1%, so about $100 million into the oil and gas industry, and what would that look like from a national perspective? And again, situational, but it sort of came out of this. The data that we had for September of 2021, there was an increase of about, I think Canada exported about almost $32 billion of oil and natural gas, most to the US, but that was a rise of 6.1 billion, or about 19%. And the impacts of that was so significant to our economy as we're coming out of COVID. So we went in and sort of did this look of like each $100 million increase in oil and gas exports increases our Canadian economy by $86 million. And so putting this information out, it would show that the more we do this, the more jobs we get, the better, the more economic impact we'll have on a broader nation. And so we wanted to make sure this gets out so that folks could understand the importance of it as we recover from COVID.
I think I saw, did I not see right, the number of jobs to be created would be, what was it, 289?
Yeah, 289 direct and indirect jobs. And I mean, when we're talking indirect, you're talking about things like architectural engineering, machinery, equipment supplies, merchant wholesales, employment service, computers services, any sort of piece of business that goes into this industry obviously would be impacted. And again, if you think about it, we were doing the modeling based on about 100 million, about 1%, but the increase was 6.1 billion. So you can imagine over the same time period from 2019. So you can imagine just how important that was to our economy in the last little bit. And then if you think about what information we've put out over the last 3 to 4 weeks, the last time I was on, I spoke about how the oil sands, the oil and gas are getting cleaner. Yeah. But also this week we've put out methane. And so when you take all this together and you can see that if you can have this increase and this impact on your economy, we can do so in a manner where we're environmentally responsible because our oil sands, our oil and gas are getting cleaner. Our methane reductions, which we talked about this week, are coming down. So you can have an impact on your economy while still leading the world and the global marketplace from an environmental perspective.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Alberta. I did see in your report that there was record crude production there. Why are we seeing that level of production so high right now in the province?
I think the price is higher, so that's an important piece. But also, Line 3 is up and running. That's a big part of it. Is that you're starting to see a little bit more ability to get the product out. I mean, going back to our paper there. So when we're talking about this increase in production, if we had either Gateway running right now, or if KXL had finally been finished, the impact would be even bigger. But that's part of it. There's more demand in the marketplace right now. There is an absolute shortage of supply. So as much as we can get out as an industry, there is a buyer right now. Most of it's going to the US. That hasn't changed. But the US is making demands. I mean, President Biden, of course, has been saying that gasoline prices are going high. We need to bring those down. Well, to bring those down, you need more supply. And the supply just isn't there. There hasn't been a lot of greenfield development in Alberta for a long, long time. So that demand is not being met. And so we're pumping as best we can to meet what the customer wants.
Can you tell me, Mike, when you look at the exports of oil and natural gas, what needs to be done, I guess, in this country to increase those levels, that maybe to reach more of the full potential of what's there?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think it comes back down to it's all about, some people use the term egress, but it's all about pipelines. On the natural gas side, it's getting LNG Canada finished and the CGL pipeline finished and starting to export LNG from the coast of BC. I think that is the focus right there. And then TMX, getting TMX done. The first section is complete. They're getting closer and closer. But getting those two done as quickly as possible would be the number one spot. And then we need to get probably another line out to the coast. TMX is okay, but it's not going to fulfill the need that we need to displace some of these other pieces worldwide. So it's all about that market access and for our economy to really benefit. And again, going back to the piece, we had this 19% increase over the same period from 2019. That's with the current infrastructure. There's been no additional infrastructure. Line 3 is completed, but that's just recent. So more infrastructure, more of that movement. There's a lot of interesting innovations going on. I mean, everybody's heard about the bitumen pucks, where you put them on trains. Those sorts of innovations, things that we can get this product out. That would be that is the key function to make this grow quicker.
All right, super. Thanks, Mike, for joining us today.
Thanks, appreciate it.
All right, that's Mike Simpson, Executive Director of Operations for the Canadian Energy Centre. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and this has been Taking Care of Business. Thanks for joining us today.